Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to show you guys a pretty interesting device from the mid-2000s. So this is the Zipit Z2 wireless messenger. Now I already did a brief overview about this device maybe like 5 years ago in one of my gadget compilation videos, but I want to just do a video dedicated to this one because I think it's a pretty interesting nifty device. So first of all, this device came out in 2007, and around that time instant messengers were really popular, right? Because that's how people used, that's like young people like me, we usually used instant messengers to communicate with other people. That was the main form of communication online back then. So this is before we had, I mean, there were smartphones back then, but it's mostly used by business users, right? The Blackberries, the Windows Mobile stuff, Palm OS, those were mostly used by business users, enterprise users, whereas mainstream people, mainstream consumers, most people back in the day just had like a regular cell phone, right? Clamshell, slider, flip phone, feature phone, right? And those phones couldn't do instant messaging. They could just do SMS and texting like that. But of course, a lot of people used instant messengers like MSN Messenger, which is what I used, or AOL Instant Messenger, or AIM, Yahoo Messenger, ICQ. Those are a few more popular messengers. I think Chinese people used QQ back then. So there's a lot of instant messengers that people used back in the day to communicate. Unlike today, we didn't have smartphones to use all these texting apps and stuff, right? Those instant messengers could only be used on a computer. So when you went outside, when we were on the go, our cell phones couldn't really use them. So a bunch of companies made different devices that cater to this market to fulfill that niche, right? Because some people want to text their friends using instant messenger on the go. Obviously, you won't want to bring a laptop everywhere with you, right? So that's why you had devices like the T-Mobile Sidekick, which connected to a few different instant messengers. You had devices like the Microsoft Kin, which is kind of the successor to the Sidekick. Then you got like the Ogo Messenger, which I did a video on that one before as well. And then the Sony Milo 2, there's the Nokia N810, a few other devices like this came out. So the Zipit Z2 messenger, I guess you can think of it just like those kind of devices. It's a messenger device, right? It's mostly meant just for instant messaging and stuff like that, and that's pretty much all it's meant for. It's not a phone or anything. So this is really a relic of the time, right? Back in the mid-2000s. Now we have your smartphones, right? They have everything, right? You can do basically everything using it. But imagine back in the day, right? And back in the day, I mean the mid-2000s, which is actually like 15 years ago, right? So it's actually quite a long time ago. Man, I'm getting old. Okay. Yeah, but back then you had a bunch of different devices just meant to do specific things, right? So you had a specific phone, you had a specific MP3 player, and then some people had a messenger device just for instant messaging. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting concept. People these days might think that's a little bit weird, right? Just to have a device just for instant messenger, but that's what it was like back in the day. You couldn't use a cell phone to connect to instant messaging services. And the internet on the cell phone back then, by the way, was really bad, right? They were using like really crappy web browsers and stuff like that. So yeah, let's just say that this device was a product of its time. All right, so it came out in 2007, and go over the specs. Has a 2.8-inch QVGA color display, and it has a backlit keyboard, and actually we can go over the externals right now. So it's pretty interesting. You have this happy face kind of logo, which is, you can see that this is geared towards young people at the time, right? College students, maybe high school students, and not the business users, right? Because they already had Windows Mobile and Blackberries and stuff like that could already do instant messaging. This is for us regular folks back in the day, young people. And you can look here, the status indicator light. I'm charging it right now. This is a mini SD card slot. So you had to have a mini SD card, which is actually pretty hard to find. So I had to get an adapter from eBay because it's kind of hard to find a mini SD card, right? I'm not talking about micro SD, I'm not talking about full SD, I'm talking about mini SD. So this is a special card that was used for some devices back then, but they're not very common, right? So that's why I had to get this from eBay and get an adapter for it. And then this thing takes in mini SD, not full SD, which is a little bit annoying, right? And then on the side controls, you have the volume rockers, plus and minus here. You actually do have a headphone jack, and I think this might be a proprietary headphone jack connection as well, but I think this takes in 3.5 millimeter as well. So there's that. I think this might be a microphone as well. And then here you have what looks like a expansion port. Now I'm not fully sure because I don't have this dongle or whatever for this device, but if someone can confirm in the comments if you know what this is. I think this is some kind of a proprietary expansion port for this device. Now, I don't really know what you would connect to it. Maybe like an Ethernet jack or something like that, which is kind of defeats the purpose of this device. This is meant to be a mobile device so that you can talk to your friends on the go, right? If you're at home, you just use your PC, right, to talk to use instant messengers. And then you have a removable battery. It's actually connected through these wires here, so it's not like a really easy battery to remove or anything, but you can remove it. So anyways, there is a removable battery there, and then the DC charger is a proprietary charger, so it's a proprietary barrel charger right here. And yeah, let's open this baby up, and I'll go over the operating system later. First, we're going to go over what we see here on the QWERTY keyboard. Like the spec says, is a backlit keyboard. So that's actually pretty good because this thing wasn't that expensive when it came out. It's like a kind of like a budget device. Obviously, they had to price it less than, you know, like a PDA, because a PDA can do instant messaging and so much more. Whereas this is kind of like a subset of a PDA, I guess. But yeah, the power button, you have a dedicated emoticon button, which now we've referred to as emojis. But back in the day, I think they were just emoticons, right? They weren't called emojis yet. Options, home, you have specific buttons for those. Previous, next. You had a Zipit button, which is interesting. Not really sure what that originally did. And then the play and pause button for media, I guess, that you could play some media on here. So this could actually have this had a mini MP3 player, I believe, so you can actually play MP3s. So I think that's what these media controls are for. The D pad right here for navigation. And then the QWERTY keyboard, and you have Alt, you have a Shift, and left and right, I guess, cursors. Which I think you have the D-pad as well. But oh no, this is brackets. Okay, these are angle brackets. My bad. And then this is a speaker, I guess. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting device, and the keyboard, I have to say, is pretty nice to type on. It's very, very tactile, so you can hear the sound from it. Very, very tactile keyboard. So I actually like this keyboard. It's really easy to type on, and very, very tactile feeling. You get the nice clicky sound and feedback from it. So I actually like using this keyboard despite the fact that this keyboard is very small, but I like it. Alright, now onto the display. Like I said, 2.8-inch QVGA color display right here. And the processor is an X-Scale PXA 270 312 megahertz processor. So this is using Intel X-Scale processor, which is very common on PDAs back in the day. 32 megs of RAM and Wi-Fi BG. So it can actually connect to wireless network still, because it's I think most routers today still support wireless G, so you should be able to still connect to the wireless networks, which is pretty interesting. So originally this device ran an operating system that was derived from Linux, and since the original operating system, I can't really use it well anymore because it doesn't connect to the network, and the Zipit servers don't work anymore, right? Obviously, all the instant messengers don't work anymore, right? AIM, MSN Messenger, that's all gone. So I decided to install my own custom Linux operating system here. Now there's actually a homebrew scene for this device. So the Zipit, since it ran Linux, a lot of people, or some people, right, who have Zipits decided to experiment with it and put their own custom Linux operating systems on here. So there's actually a homebrew scene, and what I just decided to do was I decided to download OpenWRT and flash it onto this device. So that's why I had to get this mini SD card adapter from eBay and load the bootloader onto here, and then I flashed this device. So now it's running a version of OpenWRT on Zipit, and there's a few different operating systems you can install in here. I believe you can also install Arch Linux on here as well, which I showed a few days ago with PinePhone actually. So it's interesting. Alright, so yeah, this is the Zipit Z2 running OpenWRT Linux. I just flashed it to this, which is pretty interesting. And you can see from this we have 156 megahertz, not a lot of RAM. I didn't set the time yet, and I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. Okay, And then to navigate through these different tabs, I'm using the previous and next. So that's what this is doing right here. And this Central Z button here, it says no apps are running. Okay, so maybe it's kind of like a app switcher. I'm just started to use this operating system with this device, so that's why I'm going to go through it. So let's see, I believe I can actually connect to the wireless network. Connecting to wireless network. Connected. Okay, so it actually did connect. Interesting. So okay, so now we see like a Wi-Fi signal bar light up here. So yeah, it still can connect to my router, which is interesting. So we can go through the different apps here that came pre-installed with my flashing of the bootloader. So now it's running at 312 megahertz. Interesting enough, I believe that's the max that they can run at, 312. Okay, so this is the settings menu. We can set the CPU working frequency on G menu 2x. We can overclock this device. Ooh, we can overclock the Z2. That's yep, that's living life on the edge, I guess. LCD backlight, KCI show root. Okay. Now to go back, you actually have to press the emoticon button. Yes, that's actually the back button. Using this interface, by default, it looks like is the emoticon button. Skin, I don't have another skin, but you can definitely change the skin here. So I didn't install any new apps on here. I just want to show you guys what it came with when I flashed it to OpenWRT Linux. These are just what it comes with by default. I'm using the Bleeding Edge build, which was updated, I believe, 2017. There's wallpaper, so we can install custom wallpapers, but this is the default one it came with. Net status, so we can check our, we are connected to 801.22, so we are connected to 802.11 BG right now, which is good. So I'm actually pretty interested and surprised that this device can still connect to my router in 2020, which is interesting. In the USB mode, you can choose to use device mode or host mode here. So I guess you can connect this to a computer, I guess. Yep. And then, okay, we don't have any games, unfortunately. And then we have some applications. So we got Explorer, which is just a file explorer. So, you know, regular file explorer stuff. Links is interesting. So it's an application, and now it's going to go to through the terminal to start all these apps. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we can go to URL, go back or forward. So we can actually, looks like this is a web browser. Search backwards, download setup. Okay, looks like this is actually a web browser. Okay, cool. So since we're connected to the internet, we can actually go somewhere. So let's go to Google. Obviously, that's the easy choice here, since Google has optimized their website to work with pretty much any device. And let's see what happens. And wow, it actually works. Okay, so this is the simple version of Google, I suppose. But we can do searches here, I guess. Wow, okay. Actually, how do I even navigate in this? Interesting. I've not figured out how to navigate on the screen. Oh, can we click something here? No. Okay, this is not a touchscreen, obviously, so I have to figure out how to actually navigate this web page. And there's no mouse cursor, right? So I'm not really sure. Images. Oh. Alright, let's try a different website. We can go to Facebook. Let's see Facebook. How does Facebook look like on this web browser thing? This is very similar to like an old web browser, I guess. It's very, very primitive. Doesn't have a valid certificate. Probably won't be able to connect to much else. YouTube. device is actually really easy to type on, which I like. Okay, now it's giving me the invalid certificate stuff, so yeah. Anyways, Google works, so that's cool. Actually, it's peeled back from connections, and yeah, that's about it. Alright, so let's go over some other applications we're going to find on here. So yes, we have ALSA mixer, which is sound, I guess. So this is for capturing sound. Yeah, not too sure what this app is actually for, but okay. Anyways, this looks like a mixer app, which I'm actually pretty surprised that this would come with that. Not sure how useful that is. Okay, and then terminals, which is the core of a Linux computer, right? So we have different terminal apps here. We have the Ash terminal, and then we have Nano, which is a text editor, and then Tmux. So yeah, so we have Tmux here, which we can use. Actually, yeah, we can list some commands here, Linux commands. And this is basically just another terminal, just another shell, and a few Linux commands. And let's try ping, just because we're going to test the internet connection here. Oops. I do like typing on this keyboard. It's a lot better than you would expect for a device of this size. Alright, so we get a ping. So ping works because we can test that we're actually connected to the internet, and that this device, even in 2020, can still connect to the internet, and we can get some data back from Google. Nice. Alright, so we can get out of that, and then we have Nano here. So any of you who have used Linux before probably know of Nano. It's a text editor, you know, very similar to Vim or Emacs. So you can go into Nano, and this is your standard Nano commands, right? So you can just hello, I'm writing something. See, this keyword is actually pretty good. Something from a Zipit Z2. So yeah, I can actually write pretty decently fast on this device, which is actually just a testament to how good this device was for texting and messaging your friends, right? They really designed this keyboard well for such a small device from the mid-2000s, right? It's pretty good. Nano, actually we can use go home, and then Ash, which is another terminal app, very similar to the one that we saw before. So yeah, we can definitely use our Linux commands here. Yep. So let's see. We use ping already. You know, we have access to wget, I believe. Yep. So we actually have access to all that, and then we have access to Vim. Huh. That's interesting. So. And then now if I press the middle button here, I can switch between the two. So I got two shells open here now, right? We got both tmux and shell.sh open, so we can switch between the two. So I'm in Vim right now on Ash shell, and then if I can go home, and then I can switch to tmux, which is still pinging Google right now. Yeah, like I'm DDoSing them. No, I'm just kidding. I would have to ping a lot more than that. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically it. So you have like a kind of a multitasker switcher, an app switcher basically, once you press the Zipit button. But anyways guys, that is the Zipit Z2, which is a very interesting device from the mid-2000s. The original operating system doesn't work anymore, so you can still use homebrew operating systems like I'm using here with OpenWRT, and of course you can install Linux apps and stuff like that, which I haven't done yet, but I might do in the future if I'm interested enough. But I just wanted to make a quick video here just showing you guys what you can do with this device. And yeah, it even has like a web browser, right? Links, which actually connected to Google, which I'm surprised. Doesn't connect to much other websites right now, but I think I have to fix the date or maybe the clock on my device. Maybe that's why the security certificate doesn't work. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I do like the keyboard on this device. It's a lot better than I would expect. Given how budget this device was, it was not an expensive device. It's only targeted to like young people mostly because of the instant messaging features, and you know, it's from the mid-2000s. So I didn't expect this keyboard to be good, but it's actually pretty decent. So anyways guys, that's it. The Zipit Z2 Messenger running homebrew Linux on it right now, and you can install many other things on this device. You can just Google it. There's different communities where people apparently are still using Zipit Z2s. So very interesting device, and so small, so portable and pocketable. I just think it's such a unique device for the time. So yeah, just like a lot of the other mid-2000s messenger devices, I think the Zipit Z2 is pretty unique and pretty interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me any questions or comments in the comment section, and as always, thanks for watching.